I started on my bike ride, the first mile,
What's up, buddy?
like any other bike ride, but after my first mile, for some reason, I completely lost consciousness and passed out
On a
mid-ride,
bike?
like on my bike, on a
Oh
bike.
shit.
Yeah.
How
So
are your
here,
bones and your face?
let me just here. We'll just here we go.
Jack, buddy. Also, what's up, Logan?
We'll
Thanks
turn on
for
my
joining us.
camera real quick, just so you can see.
Drawing with Jack.
So as you can
Oh,
see
okay.
on right
Oh, geez.
here, I have a black eye, right? Like you can
Listen,
see
if your
that.
roommate's hitting you and you just need to talk
Uh,
about it,
uh, uh, uh,
I mean, safe
uh,
space.
yeah,
Safe
no, it
space.
does look like that, doesn't it? Remarkably, I have no other marks anywhere on my body, although I have
That's
a very
crazy.
sore hip.
Bro, passing out on a bike, do you know how many bones you could have broken? I mean,
Yeah,
you don't have to be
and
going very
dude,
fast for that to be the case either. So, I
this
mean,
is what this
your
is what
mama's
I am
praying for you,
saying,
and you had angels catch you. That's all I can say, man.
dude. Like
Well, because you're on a
I
concrete
passed
pad too,
out
right? God damn.
cold. I woke up. So one second I'm biking, the next second I'm waking up in the hospital.
Shit.
That was yesterday. That was yesterday morning.
Wow.
So yeah, um, I was released on my own recognizance though, because they gave me the cognitive test and I passed with flying colors. I even inserted humor where I should not have, because they asked me who the president was. So
Gotcha.
um um but yeah, I woke up in the hospital. They took blood, they did a CAT scan. They did an X-ray of my chest. They did an X-ray of my head. Everything is normal. Everything is normal.
And you feel fairly fine.
So
But right, like what made you pass out? They couldn't identify that at all?
no, like
Damn it.
I've been to a cardiologist for this because I actually had an
Yeah.
episode previously. I don't know if I
Right.
told you guys about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you did. That's one of the reasons I'm
Yeah.
wondering if this is related at all.
So
'Cause
I
that's
passed
scary
out
as fuck,
then, and
dude.
now I've passed out on a bike.
Right.
So but the cardiologist just got back to me with my heart monitor results, and my heart monitor results are completely normal. Even the
Well,
times when I
obviously,
pressed the button saying that I had symptoms, they said there was no abnormal heart anything happening, no abnormal readings anyway.
so then what are they
So,
suggesting it could be then?
well, I have an appointment with a neurologist in August, and I'm having a echogram or echosonogram or whatever of my heart be taken next month. So I
What's up,
am,
buddy? Aaron
just
Cosby
basically
on Drawing
waiting.
with Jack.
What's up,
Oh,
Aaron and Logan? Sorry that I didn't say hello to you guys
you're
earlier.
all good, man. I
Although,
was
Aaron,
definitely
you just
interested
joined.
in your
It's all
story
good.
because it's important to know. I'm really glad that you're in such good shape. After taking a dive off
Um,
your bike. Um, so I guess you're not going to be allowed to do that anymore, huh?
that's yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
how do I feel about that? That's a great question. Because I really want to stay in shape, but I don't want to be
okay.
vain.
Right.
So I'm really trying to decide between being healthy and being, like really fit right now. But I'm just gonna have to like watch what I eat. But I really feel like that welcome everyone to Drawing with Jack with a bandage.
With the band-aid.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like, my, you know, my episodes were brought about from my keto diet, essentially, being broken. Because when I was down with my mother, I broke my keto diet pretty hard and had
Okay, so you're talking about like now eating like grains and stuff, or what does that mean to break your diet?
yeah, and like sugar too, because I had like a little bit of like tea
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
So yeah, basically just like carbs and sugar, two things that I do is chewing,
Th
especially sugar.
There's two forms of
Um,
sugar, yeah. So do you think it created like some sort of like glycerol spike or something like that?
Well, I
Because it gives
feel
you a
like
Russian crash?
I feel like my body switched over in some way. It sounds ridiculous to say, maybe, I don't know. Like, maybe it makes me sound like an idiot.
Well, you're
But
the
I
one
just feel
who
like
experiences
because
it.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I know that your body on the keto diet, your body goes from using fat or it goes from using carbs to fat for energy. And so when you break that, it goes back to using carbs again, and then you flip that again like real quick. I just feel like your body might go through some kind of shock that just like
Hmm.
passes you the fuck out. That is like
Well,
rarely known because most people don't put themselves through that.
no, I mean, I've
But
heard that when vegans who say that they cheat and eat meat, their stomach rejects it because it doesn't have the enzymes to digest animal products. And it's like, even if they didn't realize that they'd eaten meat, suddenly the body reminds them very quickly that they are. Um, and I've heard that from ex-vegans too, saying when they switched back to eating meat, like they were vegan for, not they had like a political reason, but they just wanted to have that experience. But yeah, they said that the body just wasn't ready for it. So I can understand like changing from a keto diet to then having carbs and sugar would probably do a thing to you. Was that the same thing that happened the first time it happened to you? Like, had you been
kind of, yeah, that
off your diet?
day I broke my yeah that day I broke my keto pretty hard with sugar.
Ah,
I think it's sugar. I think it's sugar is what really you know um
that's an interesting take.
gets you.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
I'm gonna Google to see if there is some like sort of sugar reaction. Now, obviously, I don't know, but like that's what I mean. Like, I wanted to know what your experience was because that would tell you more closely. Like, if it's not your heart, because that's what the doctor is saying, then there's something else
yeah,
going on with you, right? Um, and you say for you that was
yeah.
like a
I
common
mean,
factor.
it's kind of scary, honestly. But yeah, there's like something going on for sure. I mean, I've never passed out on a bike ride before, no matter how tired. I've been
Yeah.
very tired on. I mean, I've been very out of, energy on bike rides before. I've never like even been close to passing out. Like I've never felt close to passing out, even as tired as I possibly could possibly have been. I've never felt close to passing out, much less passed out so hard that I don't remember passing out. Like I don't even remember being like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna pass out." Like
Right.
even usually when I've passed out in the past, I know right before I'm like, "Oh shit, I think I'm about to pass out."
How
None of
did you
that
get
this
to the
time. Just like
hospital?
in an ambulance. Somebody on the trail. I mean, again, this is like 5:30, 5:45 in the morning.
That's what I'm saying.
Somebody on
That's
the
wild.
trail, yeah, called 911.
And you never saw the people who
So
picked you up. You never saw the ambulance. The only thing you remember is you woke
no,
up in the hospital.
that's the only thing I remember. Yeah, that's how
That's
long I was out.
well, I mean, that's like thank God
Like
for all the good
completely
the
out.
good people who got you there.
I know, right? Exactly. Like
Because
for
like holy
saving
shit, you
humanity.
know how
So
bad
like,
they could have gone if were just out
yeah,
there,
I
in the
know.
cold. So yeah, again, it's a good thing your mama prays for you.
Well, I mean, it happened, and I'm wearing the the proof.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Damn.
it yeah, it's definitely a testament to the good people of the neighborhood for that I'm alive.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I
Right?
don't even know who they are. Like I
Right?
never
Yeah,
met them. They're
exactly.
just like other
So
people
shout out
on
to
the
the
trail.
anonymous heroes who made sure that Jack got to the hospital and didn't die on the side of the trail at 5:30 in the morning.
Because his weak ass definitely could have.
Dude, I mean, you're a human, and humans are just super fucking resilient. That's the thing that's awesome about humans is that, humans have been dying for a real long time, which means we come from a long line of survivor humans. So that's just
Yeah.
that's just good news. Oh, but also, I
Yeah.
mean, that the community gathered around you and picked you up and got you where you needed to go. And you could not
Yeah.
respond at all.
I'm not a believer in angels, but if anyone deserves a term, definitely these people do because they were there for me when I needed help, absolutely. And I never asked anybody for the help. They just gave it to me when they saw I needed it. I mean, it's
Right. Well, I
true,
mean, that's just like,
true.
one of those faith. Sorry, Kaz, you can jump in.
Oh, I just said that's some good people.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
faith in humanity restored. You know what I mean? Like, so one of the things I've been trying to do recently is this thing that I saw suggested probably from a Tumblr because I'm just kind of like that. Good stuff comes out of all that chaotic nonsense that goes on over there sometimes. Um, but one thing that
Yeah.
somebody suggested was that if you want to rewire your brain to stop focusing on the negative and focus on the positive instead, you have to take time to dwell on the things that are good so that you like remember that. Because our animal brains aren't good at that. Our animal brains are like keyed to survival. And so we're looking for like, the worst things so we can make sure they never happen again.
Yeah,
So anyway, I just want to pause to be like, hell yeah, humanity. They picked up Jack Haynes, got him to the hospital.
I know.
So like,
Chicago, of
whether you
all
say that's
cities,
supernatural or just like, yeah, in Chicago, right? Or like humans, we fuck up all the time. There's a bunch of humans who don't do great. But they also do great,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool, man. And
Well,
I
they
am
want to do
real
great.
glad
I
you're
think
alive.
most people, I mean, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. I think most people want to do great. I really do. I believe even people that, some of us would term like evil. Like everybody, like, their intentions may be warped, but everybody wants to do good. Like everybody has good intentions and wants to do good. It's like, I think one of the cornerstones of being like a human being, I personally would say of being like a living thing. I think anything that's alive recognizes life and other things and wants to like encourage that,
I
no
agree.
matter what form it takes. um, I think if you're just like aligned with good, it takes a lot of, I think, training to look at another living thing, no matter where it's from or what its, stated intentions are, and not want to at least, you know, do right by it as it's deemed correct under the law. Like I don't think a lot of
Right.
people want to be straight up evil to something. I've heard some straight up evil shit, but like usually a lot of it focused on, another country. That's the thing. It's just like, I don't know, nation states. They're useful in some ways, but I feel like in a lot of other ways it like causes people to just like irrationally like hate each other.
Yeah, it's a silly trait. Aaron, I know you have a couple of thoughts about the good nature of humanity. Do you wanna do you wanna share?
I mean, I believe that most people are good, although there are people that uh, don't are very selfish and do not believe in doing good to others, and you
What
could not
what's
convince
what's
them
the
to.
ratio on that, do you think, in humanity? Like from your perspective.
Mm.
Is it 95
Um,
5?
Probably like 80-20,
Okay.
Hmm.
maybe
So 80% of people are
80-20.
good and 20% are like selfish people that will never change and can't be convinced.
That's generous.
I mean,
Mm,
Jack, what do you think that number is?
I think maybe 10% probably could be convinced,
Okay.
but 10% of those, 10, but half of the 20% probably couldn't. And
Man, Kaz
Okay.
stepping up with the concept of redemption here.
Okay, so
well,
you
yeah,
say
like there are people who could, who definitely like, because it's a spectrum, right, of
right.
like being a good person, um,
Huh. I
and
mean, that's
like
true.
it's a choice that you make in every decision.
Hmm.
And most people don't have to make really big choices. It's just like little kindnesses here and there, or little selfishnesses here and there. Most people don't have to make big, scary decisions of whether to be good or bad.
Mm.
Right. And all those decisions, as far as like a collection of like a nation or a city state, or a town add up to the bigger embodiment of who that embodiment is, like whether it's a country or a corporation or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like in the karmatic sense where we're all linked into each other, then what we want, whether we're like choosing evil or kindness, is like what's reflected in the larger bodies.
And
So
corporations are, I think, exactly the same thing as countries,
yes,
where all they
they're
care
they're
about is uh, their own group of people.
they're yeah, exactly. They're a type of yeah, embodiment of a nation, but in a
Yeah,
financial way, right? Yeah, exactly. Which
yeah.
is so
So they'll
crazy.
just
You would
do the
think that'd
things
be
that are good for
treason in the
their own
country.
company, and the nation will do what's good for their own nation,
Yeah.
usually, more or less. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes it has this form of government where all it cares about is the people at the top. Um, but
Yeah.
corporations do that too. So
That is, yeah, exactly. We definitely run that way in this country.
most every country, I can't think of a country where
Right.
it's not like that.
Yeah, the people run it at the top are the ones who get all this stuff. Yeah, that's sort of what seems the problem with all forms of government when they break down is they promise that they'll remember people when they get there, and then they just hog all the resources.
Um, are we sure that a corporation has the same interests as a nation state?
I think I
I
think he was
mean,
making the. I'm sorry. I mean, you can defend it for yourself if you want to, but I think I understood the parallel to be that uh, it's a type of like group of people guided under one force or one directive. I mean, correct
Mm.
me
yeah.
if I'm wrong,
The
Different
difference is
groups are guided.
like a company doesn't have isn't bound to a single nation.
which is weird. Yeah,
Like
exactly. Especially if they're exporting
Yeah, nation
like
has
they
labor.
can put their
borders.
headquarters in another country
Yeah.
if that country has a better tax system for them.
Is that like the kind of thing you're asking, Jack?
I mean, yeah, that's one example. I mean, a corporation doesn't even need to be necessarily invested in the future of our species, which I think is
So
very
wild.
well delineated in the Alien franchise. Which is
Right.
not. I mean, that's funny, but it's also true. Like, I mean,
Well, I laugh because
if
it's horrifyingly true. Yeah, exactly.
right, that I mean, but I mean, that's just one way that I think we can take a look. I mean, I think nations have responsibilities to their people, whether they have a responsibility to rule them in like a monarchy where it's like the nation is still subjugated. And so, there's varying degrees of how well that works out. Or
Well, if it
whether the government has a responsibility to represent the people, which is different kinds of representative and democratic like types of countries. But I think it has a different, I mean, because corporations and companies just have a profit motive and just want to like have unlimited growth
exactly.
for shareholders.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only function they have. Yet they are a citizen recognized by the United States. That's what they do when they incorporate. Um,
That doesn't
Yeah.
mean, I mean, that doesn't mean that that's necessarily true, though. I mean, that's just what's
well,
recognized in the United States. Like, I
well,
think the
yeah,
truth
exactly.
of
Not
whether or not
necessarily true.
that's,
However, I was linking it back to the idea that you said that the nation is rules the people, right? The government rules the people, and that they should have a responsibility to rule the corporations as if they were people, because it's good to have things that drive commerce up, but it's bad if they don't have any control on them, because they will, right? They have no responsibility to protect the human race. That's not their goal, and it's been cut out of their objective altogether.
yeah, I mean, again, like we should try to, because again, human nature is going to be what it is.
Yeah.
We should try to bake in the right kind of rules for these systems with human nature being like taken accounted for. In my opinion, this is just my opinion.
Hands down. I know. Right. Like you know that people are greedy fucks and they're always going to try to seize power. How do you stop them from
Yeah.
doing that? Even if it's me that tries to do it. You know what I mean? Because that's the sort of thing that
Yeah, I mean,
happens.
we
Like they get in the position of power and they're like, oh yes, I'm gonna switch the regime, and then cash flow just keeps
Yeah.
flowing up.
You're saying a lot, Caleb, but I'm really interested in what Kaz has to say because
Do
I
it.
was like, I
Me
wasn't
too.
trying to like attack your idea, Kaz. I just feel like my perspective is just like I'm having trouble reconciling it with what you were talking about. So what I mean, like, what do you think about everything that we've been talking about?
Oh,
I also have a question for you when that's done, by the way.
Okay. What do you mean specific? Like, which?
Like the idea of a corporation and a nation state ultimately not being similar because they just have different ultimate goals and responsibilities to different groups.
I mean,
and
it's similar to countries in that like a corporation can ally itself with a country, or be like opposed to the way another country conducts business.
Right. But I mean, if like say like a certain percentage of the population in that country that's a controlling percentage doesn't like what the corporation is doing, the corporation isn't as like locked into like needing to answer to those people as the government of the place is, because of like factors just like what you just said, where it's just like the corporation could just up and leave the country, take all those jobs with them, have an economic impact. And
But then that country could also independently create a similar company.
I mean, they could, but there would still be an economic like impact. And then just like back to the comparison of it being like to like a government, like a government can't just like ignore like what huge swaths of people like feel or think, or like compare it to like its body to like the body of like an individual, to like say that like it somehow has the same rights as the individual, so that means that it can't be regulated. I don't know, like it's just
Oh wait, I
a
think
lot
that's
of
ridiculous. Like hands down. Like when they agreed at one point that a corporate body of people was one entity under the law, it just like the law went bonkers. Like it just they entered a like a gonzo world. You know what I mean? Like that's
well,
not a thing that should have happened at any
money
point.
money
Yeah.
exploded, that's for sure.
Yeah, they like,
Money exploded.
yeah. So
And it's not like countries like the United States has like, it doesn't always use the mechanisms in place to combat like a company that's getting too big, like the Sherman Antitrust Act, which you can break up monopolies, and the United States has broken up monopolies before or prevented certain companies from merging into each other. Like, it's not like it doesn't happen. It's just like companies are just really strong and like, and I don't know that countries have really found a good way since globalization to combat that.
Yeah, I mean, like it definitely hasn't stopped the concentration of wealth, even though certain companies, I don't know, do arguably have monopolies or things, or are able to like force out, mom and pop companies like Walmart has like excellent like run of doing. And I don't know, like it seems like even though like companies can be reined in by the government, when they need to be. It still feels like you have people like Elon Musk and what's his face that owns Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Like you have these people like just like amassing tons of wealth, and being able to influence like at least media with it, if not the government. I mean, like Elon Musk, I think can be argued that he thinks or made the case that he influenced the government with his money.
right.
But with Jeff Bezos speaking at the Washington Post, I mean, I don't know. It's just like these people still run companies, and they still dodge taxes, with those companies, and they still wield
And provably
outside some
so. I
out of
mean,
influence.
there's been proof.
Just as they always have. Like,
Yeah.
Not always. I mean, they've
What
tried
did the
to.
Spanish-American War get kicked off because of a news article?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you have to go back to the Spanish-American War because ever since then, like, pretty much during the Industrial Revolution and the first half of the 20th century,
And there's
like,
barons, there's people, there's always the rich that control like commerce and information, and before that they owned us because we were serfs.
well, I mean, well, yeah, but we have fought back for rights we've fought back to get rights from them, like a 40-hour work week, like the right to strike. Like people
100%.
have died for these things.
Right. It wasn't too long ago that this country actually had unions.
Rights from them.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like we can't convince them that, like, you know, they're still fucked up, that things are not, you know, in need of redressing just because, you know, they say that, I don't know.
There was a lie that was told.
Fight back, and we have fought back, and like
and need to keep fighting back.
Yeah,
it's not a thing that needs to stop.
It's been a while since like fighting back did anything, because like I used to work at Kroger, and Kroger had a union of but like I never felt like it did anything because they kept giving in year after year, and we really didn't get anything. Like contracts for grocery store employees used to be like such where you could get a career, but modern contracts are you couldn't. It's not it's like, even to get a full-time job at the grocery store, you kind of have to trick the grocery store.
How do you mean?
So you have to get an average of 32 hours a week for like a year.
Okay.
But if it's like you could get those 32 hours a week, but then the company could say, oh wow, he's getting close to getting that average of 32 hours a week. Let's give him a month with like no hours, so we don't have to make him a full-time member.
What?
You will be technically a part-time job. It will be even if you work the 32 hours like for 9 months. If they bring down the average for the year below the 32 hours, you won't get the full-time job / benefits.
Yeah, that seems like it's happening like across the company like a lot. It shouldn't be allowed, but yeah, it does seem like that's a pretty normal thing.
Government's always has to step in and tell people how to handle stuff like that.
And we have a union, but the union doesn't do.
You know, the conservative movement spent a lot of years trying to weaken unions across the country. I mean, not police unions, but other kinds of unions. I mean,
but most all other kinds.
Reagan's fight with the airline flight controller unions is pretty legendary. But like the weakness of the unions isn't really, I would say, a fault of the concept, because unions have had really great victories in the past to give people, like I said, 40-hour work week, paid vacation.
Exactly. All the things that
access to medical care.
There you go.
I mean, unions are almost a corporation in themselves. Where they only really seem to care about the people who are at the top of the union,
right?
Not who the unions represent.
Some unions are like that. I'm not going to say that they are. My dad was a member of a union for a security firm, and he was treated like shit. They didn't really fight for him. But again, for me, again, I'm not trying to make any judgments here. It's just for me personally, that doesn't make me shit on unions. I just know that in Springfield, Illinois, a lot of unions aren't worth shit, but that's because the people in them are probably bought and paid for shills, or people that are just so busy and don't want to make any
Right.
waves. Because they're, they like have a family and they have a life and they just want to like, contribute. So they don't want to like, but again, like corporate greed taking advantage of people in that position is something that we should at least be able to like call out.
Yeah.
And, I think corporate greed in politics is definitely something that needs to be at least, like re-looked at, especially in light of Clarence Thomas and, like certain Supreme Court decisions. But again, that's just me. That's just me. That's just me.
Right, yeah,
Political, I'm
exactly.
sorry. I'll be
The
quiet.
the thing
I'll be
that's funny,
quiet.
the thing that's funny about a capitalist system is like no one expected, or they probably they set it up so
Oh
this was
yeah.
the case. But the people with the most money get the ones who get to make the rules. That's just
Can't ask people with money
so
not to buy shit, not to
yeah,
buy what they want, which is another inherent flaw in capitalism when it comes to
right. That's
governance.
just like
Governance is one of the main human problems. Listen, not according to me. I didn't make that up. That's according to Aristotle, like some
right.
little fucking nerd named Aristotle. So,
Don't
I
know the
mean, when it
guy.
comes to governance, like,
Never
yeah,
met him.
capitalism has drawbacks. But again, like, those are supposed to be factored in. But are we paying attention to the rules, or do we feel like we can just like wave our dick at the rules and act
Right,
like there are no
right.
repercussions to giving into the darker sides of human nature? I guess we'll see.
Find
Yeah,
out next week.
Exactly.
next 10 decades. No, yeah, a corporation should have an age limit to it. Like you can only reach like a regular human age, like 90 years or something. You know what I mean? And then it needs to pass on
Agree.
its money to like other bodies. And if a corporation misbehaves, it should be able to get put in jail, or it can't do any business for a certain period of time. So,
I agree.
there's literally penalties, not just like, oh, you lose some money on this deal. No, like if you got caught dumping oil in, just as an example, there's so many different atrocities the corporations have done. If you've been caught stealing water from people who need it, as a criminal maneuver, um,
Yeah.
time out for that corporation, which means none of the shareholders, nobody makes any money, no one sells any products. Like that's it. Until their time's
Yeah.
up. You know, just if they're wanting to be humans, they should be treated like humans. Um, so,
Yeah.
and I don't
I
know
mean,
why they didn't do that from the beginning, but I guess when they start making those laws, it is like the 1800s, right? So like we have 200 years on them now, or like 150
yeah.
years, something like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, see, and this is the thing that I don't understand. I mean, the reason that people would give for what you're talking about and why it doesn't happen is because, well, I mean, like it's complicated, like their jobs, like people have to understand where all of this capital's going, where all these things, like a business is not just, stuff on paper, like business has copiers and business has paper, business has blah, 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 and you have to figure out where all that stuff is going, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's great that you can rhetoric your way into like all of that mess, but it's like, why can't we like immediately start with, like saying that this corporation is done, but people are going to continue working their jobs, but the job is now breaking down all of these like assets and capital and everything and like moving the business towards being liquidated, and also immediately liquidate that person at the top, the CEO and those like fucking executives, like all those top people, immediately liquidate their shares, their salaries, and all that, and like give that to the workers as a way for them to like feel something positive when their jobs are going to be coming to an end, and they know that the jobs are going to be coming to an end, but they at least have this like immediate like windfall that comes from the people who manage the thing into being fucking like ended in the first place, which to me that makes the most sense. But again, we're so afraid to like make people with money feel any consequence, and we're so
Right.
ready to act like things are way too hard to make doing the right thing possible. um and anyway, I'm on a soapbox right now, but it's just like, growing up black, living in the black community and seeing how the black community is treated by the police,
Right. Right.
and just like seeing every excuse under the sun. And I mean, I have family that are police, you know what I'm saying? Like, so this isn't like just me, like just on like some unknown rant here. Like I have family that would be defending the police to me. So, but it's, just like very obvious that we're ready to make excuses for certain people and blame other people. And it's really just weird to me that we don't want to just help people. And one of the ways that I feel like we could be helping people is just like these rich fucks that are at the top here, like making it seem like everything is.
Hey Jack, I don't think it's that color. It's that like purpley color, right? Over to
Oh, you're right.
in the
You're
other side.
right. See, I'm not paying attention. You do. Thank you. I'm not
You're
paying
you're all
attention.
you're all good. This was a last minute change, and I think we did it
How is
after the
that
palette.
coming
Yeah,
through? Oh, because there's. Wait, what? How is that? What? That's not a. Oh, that's multiple. This is multiply? Is that on
no,
the darkest? Oh, that's on. Okay, never mind.
that's
Now I
what's
get
up.
it. Now.
Yeah, the inside of the pecker.
Okay.
It it is fun to see
This.
the color coming together. Sarah, remember the other night I was talking about how you're gonna be yelling cock through these two images. This is good. Yeah, like cock because we have a bunch of time for the it's like 20 seconds for you running around in a circle. You could do it twice, I guess, because it's Richard running around in a circle in engineering and then Richard running down the hallway. So if you give me one long cock, then I could like have one that sounds like it's close but doing a circle and then one that sounds like it's getting farther away. Because that's the thing about this shot is he's like running, away from the camera. So Logan Gifford, if you're there, are you able to talk?
Yes.
Okay, so you recommended this thing with Brooks, where we shoot the upcoming episode in a wide shot because, for comedic effect.
Mhm.
I was watching Teen Wolf last night, and there's this one shot. I
Teen
don't know if you
Wolf.
guys are familiar with Teen Wolf. Uh,
I'm
Michael
not.
J.
Teen Wolf.
Fox
Michael J.
get,
Fox?
yeah,
Oh, Teen
exactly.
Wolf 2.
Gets turned into.
Jason
Uh,
Bateman.
is that who it is?
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
So Michael J.
sorry.
Fox gets
I'm too
turned
I'm too big
into
of a nerd. I'm
a
sorry.
werewolf, and it's also a sports movie about basketball and him winning a basketball tournament in high school. So it's got a lot going on. Also, the werewolf thing might be a metaphor for being gay, but they kind of skirt around it and they never really tackle that issue. So I'll just let it be as what it is. Anyway, but so the the point of that story was the long shot in the film was Michael J. Fox is running down a hallway and it freezes on him the whole time. And he's running and he passes the janitor and he says, "The floor is wet." And then you see him go down this long hallway and he slips and slides all the way down the hallway for a good like 15 seconds before rounding the corner and slipping and sliding out of the shot by like like moving out of view on the frame. And this is
Hmm.
what this moment reminds me of, right? Like this toxin space moment, but it's also like you don't see modern comedy like that often. Maybe Seth Rogen does that. That's large shot visual comedy for people who just like, you know, flailing.
Lately. Sorry.
Failing is a fun word for it.
Yeah, that's the yeah, because you want to see like the reactions, right? Of everyone being there and doing that thing.
Right. Like I feel like the one important shot needs to be like us reacting to each other, and then from there it can go like cut for cut.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it just emphasizes the glory of it, of just like the wide shot, you know. Um, it's super fun, like body physical comedy, like where you see everything all together. It's more funny on stage often because there's so much to take in than just their face.
Um, dude, why can I never remember that this is the carpet color now? I really want the carpet to be maroon for some reason, and I'm wondering how that connects to my childhood. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Derailed you guys.
No, I was
It's
gonna say earlier,
sorry.
you had corrected your way of speaking, but initially you had just said liquidate the upper people. And I was gonna chime in and be like, "Fuck yeah, that's metal. That sounds awesome."
Liquidate the upper
Fuck
people.
guillotines, just put them in a big ass blender and liquidate them.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
there should be a
Bring them
limit
down
on
to
how much
that
wealth
A
you can
game.
hold. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really wish that we had the courage to just tax them, because I mean the only reason they get away with this is because we allow them to.
Yeah, well,
They
Reagan promised that
pay.
it was going to trickle down, and it didn't trickle down, which means that now we have to take the next step, which is make sure that they do pay their dues.
It's been so mathematically disproven. I
Yeah,
can't
exactly. Well,
believe
if it was
it was
going to
ever
happen, it
proposed.
would have happened, right? Like it was, they tried it, it didn't work.
In
No harm, no
history, at some
foul.
point with some other commodity, but does that make sense with any other commodity at all?
Right.
Like that doesn't make sense with a commodity that literally grows on fucking trees.
Yeah, you can't get infinite wealth, right? Like it's a fact that cannot exist.
Or then it's going to like trickle down to people. People
Oh yeah,
are
then otherwise, yeah, exactly.
understandably greedy. There's a natural human greed. You just
Yeah,
have to accept it. Like anybody
right.
that doesn't is sus, because it's just like it's proven and in all points in history. We should account for it. We shouldn't like ignore it.
Right.
I wouldn't
So
mind some
since
UBI.
sorry, continue.
Universal basic income.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's mine. I'd love some of that myself.
I believe in trickle up economies.
Well, that's the thing. Where
Like
do
I
you
was
think you
only
get
able
the
to buy my house because like we got those stimulus checks and I was still working.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
right? Yeah, exactly.
use
So
that money for a
you
down payment on a house.
you did the
If
right thing and stimulated the economy.
yeah,
That's great.
Right, yeah. So exactly, like I mean, when one person is holding billions of dollars, and we're not talking like one, we're talking about 70 now, which is ridiculous. When they're holding that much money, other
70
people,
billionaires?
no, $70 billion. One person holds 70 and
Oh,
above $70 billion, which is a sum that they cannot spend in several thousand lifetimes. Like it's huge amount of money. That means that nobody else has that money. It's just like the end of the game of Monopoly, right? Like it's just no one can spend that money. So yeah, like
right.
the triple. That's why we have to have the courage to tax the people who have that
Yeah,
money because it has to go
exactly. It's
back
like you
into
have
the
enough money
economy.
for several lifetimes. We're going to take a couple lifetimes. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
you
look
know
Right,
what I
at how
mean?
many
Like
exactly.
lifetimes you
you,
got.
we can't wait for that. That's like that money
Yeah,
has
What
to be
there's
about
people
shared.
suffering now.
Yeah,
Not
so
lifetimes from now.
that's they're saying like, oh no, it's not us, it's the corporations. Well, that's why the corporations need to be taxed, and they can't be hiding money places. They have to
Yeah,
prove where
and
the
I mean
wealth
it's
is, and then put it back into the places that they're exploiting. Because
yeah,
so I mean, or be mad that nobody can afford to have kids or to own property, and so you have nobody to tax because everybody's starving and or dead. Like you've made humans extinct.
yeah. I mean I don't know. It's wild.
That's a
Dude,
little
like
bit
it's not gonna be long
bombastic, but
before a lot of average people are probably just priced out of living, you know?
If we
exactly. I
allow
mean,
it,
yeah,
we
well,
have
Yeah.
that's the
to
thing.
allow
If you
that
don't
shit
release the
though.
money from the top, it's gonna happen.
I mean, I think this is why like the people who really have kids are the ones who don't care and don't think about like that sort of thing.
Or have the
Yeah.
security so
Those
that
are
they
the
don't
ones
worry
who
about
have
it.
like
Yeah.
a ton of kids. They're the people who don't like even that doesn't even come into their brain.
See, like, and that's one of the reasons, like, I'm still wary about having kids because it's not about how it'll affect my life ultimately. It's about what kind of world I'd be bringing a child into,
Right.
and
You know.
I
So
would feel nothing but guilt, you know?
here's my
Yeah, I mean,
argument against
tough.
that. If you don't, then there's nobody for the next generation who will try to make it better. Like the reason to have kids isn't just to be afraid of what world you're bringing them into, but like the reason to have kids would be to help make the world better.
Like to invest in the future.
Because if you care about the world and want to make it better, you should like add to it.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
my belief. Like,
that is
protect the
fair.
fear, but also like if you're not if you don't have if we don't have a next generation that wants to make it better, then it won't be.
But also the big question goes, well, how do I feed them? You know, in this economy. So, you know, trade-offs.
I mean, you do what you can,
Right?
I guess. Like you I don't know, food pantries.
Yeah, well,
Like
it's just
micro
so
cans.
aggravating.
Uh,
The fact that like people are putting DoorDash orders on like payment plans and
Right,
shit
right. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
is
wild.
getting crazy.
That's wild to me.
Like dude, I think the other day we went to Walmart and ended up spending like $350. And I went and checked my bank account earlier, and even my bank account is like, yeah, do you want to split that into 4 different payments? Like, no, dude, I already paid for it.
What, yeah.
What the hell?
You want to split that into 4 different payments. That's wild.
Yeah. Because at
Because
that point, like, okay, what are you gonna do? Give me my money back? You already have it. It's already out of my account. Just keep the shit. At this point,
We're gonna loan you your money back.
yeah, like what the fuck?
well, they just make money
That's
when they
another thing.
lend you money
Overdraft
because
fees
then they can
should be
charge you
illegal.
the. Yeah, it should be illegal. There's no. It should be illegal that you should.
Overdraft fees should definitely be illegal.
Yeah, and to.
Overdraft fees and interest payments on denied or deferred payments should also be illegal. You know, like it's one thing if it's late. It's another thing if you don't have the money to pay it, and then they still want to be like, "Oh, well, we're still gonna charge you $8." And then fuck you, dude. What an asshole thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, here's the fun fact that I wanted to point out because it sounds like I was just making shit up, and I totally get it. But this is what happens. Elon Musk in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic had just under $25 billion, $25 billion, which is a lot of money, and there's no way that he can spend that money. There's no way he can spend $25 billion. It's a huge amount. But by the end of 2024, his wealth soared to an unfathomable $428 billion. So first of all, I want to admit that I made a mistake because it wasn't $70 billion. It's $428 billion. That's
And that's
that is
one billionaire, fellas.
and that's just one,
did he
right?
lose money now that he divorced Trump?
It's just
He
so
has lost some money, but yeah.
again, that's just a valuation of his properties. It's not like he has that much money lying
Yeah, like
around, right?
stocks. Yeah, right. Yeah,
And
that's
you
not
know, like
like
the
liquid in
wealth
his
of
bank account.
the things that he owns, the things that he puts out, what the whole thing it holds in the market, like all that sort of stuff. So right, that he's just valued at that. But still, there's no way that he can possibly use up that money in his lifetime, even putting it towards anything
Right.
that
Like, and honestly, if you ask me, the dude's a scrub because the UN, I think, told him like, yeah, like it would take like he got in some sort of pissing contest on Twitter with the UN about like, oh, it would take like
what a
160
weird
something
time to
billion
be
dollars
alive,
to solve world hunger, and he was like, tell me how you do it, and I'll give you the money right now.
right?
And then he just chicken shit it out and never did it.
Damn it, dude. Right.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. With that kind of wealth, he's capable of doing that and should be
Yeah,
forced to
bro.
do that
Bro
for
is like
the
the closest thing to an evil genius that we currently have living among us, I think.
I mean,
genius of
evil.
marketing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that is his genius.
Well, no, like I remember him being creepy when they were talking about like, okay, so you get to Mars, how do you terraform? He was like, we nuked the poles. I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. Shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah.
As a Polish person, I'm against nuking the Poles.
Yeah.
Got caught on the mic here. So, but yeah, no, totally. It's a thing that
Sorry.
shouldn't be. There's
Sorry,
a
might be
point
too much.
that should be cut off. The first billion, I'm sure that everyone would be fine with being the one level of billionaire. you will still be fine. Your family will still be fine. You have generational wealth still with the $1 billion.
Right, like at that point.
Yeah, everything after that, really has to be 100% taxed back into whatever places you're exploiting. Because the
Right,
facts
yeah.
are you can't be making that much money without exploiting people. That should be taken into account for the law. I think is what Jack is saying, right? Like
Yeah.
capitalism, capitalism only works through exploiting people. I mean,
Right.
just all the real life examples. If you're gonna get rich, you need very inexpensive labor.
Right. Like in order to make even $1 million, I feel like these days you have to stand on the backs of people who are, unfortunately like below you, whether it's in rank or status or something. Like you have to, like I said, it's inherently exploitative.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And since it's all based on capital, it has to because you need to have it to be the lowest and you get the most payout from it, which is, obviously not good for people, but makes sense in the business sense.
Yeah,
Hell yes, we're gonna get
definitely.
to see space.
Can
Jack,
I draw new space?
have you been listening to any of the
Can I show
music
you guys?
that Chandler's been putting
Have I
out?
what?
Have you listened to any of the music that
Oh,
Chandler's been putting out?
no. Who's been putting out? Sorry.
Chandler,
Let me
Flamingo.
pause my.
So
No.
he's doing the soundtrack and sound effects for the animations.
Oh,
Oh,
gotcha.
I set up a new
Sorry.
chat for him to put the music there so you can check it out. But
Okay.
he decomposed the Cox and Space theme and then also
Okay.
made it hit at like the sound of the love chakra that it's
Gotcha.
I'm talking about the megahertz range that's supposed to open the heart chakra.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, that binaural sound. He made it sound like that, and
Yeah.
then at the same time decomposed our theme, and then looking at the images that you had drawn of the pecker flying through space, made it sound like the sounds of space. Like it sounds like you can hear the ship roaring, like at that pitch, and then you
Right.
can hear the stars twinkling. Like yeah. So he's doing a good job of representing your
It's
art.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm excited for listening to the soundtrack. I'm sorry I haven't paid too close attention to the site or to the Discord. I need to
It's
do
it's
that. I'll do
all
that
it's all
some.
good. You'll what I'm
Yeah, I'll
trying
do
to
that
point out
this week.
is you're gonna have a pleasant surprise when you hear it. I know you're a person who likes
Have you guys
music.
ever listened? Oh yeah. Have you guys ever listened to the NASA tapes, like where they took vibrations that were sent from planetary like atmospheres and magnetic fields of planets from the Voyager probes,
I think I have, which is one of the things that I really wanted to replicate on the soundtrack. Um,
just so that we can get, because of course, I
yep,
mean, your boy's
do you
not going to
have
get
it?
caught lacking here.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
you know,
my guy. This is Strong Jack, who has not been caught lagging.
I will not be caught lacking. Let's see.
Yeah, it's like that would be like one of the things that like if you were on Maury, like that would pop up underneath like your little name tag thing, it'd be like Jack Haynes, and like in like the small
Right.
text,
Like, yeah,
never gets caught
exactly.
lacking.
Yeah, never got caught lagging. It's
Mhm.
there's actually a name for that. I think it's called like a three quarters something. And I could definitely do that and have it pop up. So, Jack Haynes never been caught lagging.
See, there's nothing under NASA recordings, so I'm gonna have to look under my.
But yeah, it is cool. I mean, because you think it doesn't have a sound, but obviously, I mean, everything in the universe is vibrating.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they can be translated into the audible spectrum, which is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
NASA Voyager recordings. Here you go. It's
Nice.
called Symphony of the Planets. It's really light, so I'm gonna have to like turn it up here. Hopefully this isn't too loud. I'll do 100%. Oh yeah. So
Hell
all
yeah.
this noise are vibrations that are being translated from the magnetic fields of planets.
What's up, buddy?
Damn, outer space, you scary.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I know, right?
So yeah, that was kind of, this is what the sound he made sounds like.
Let's see. I can go to properties here, and I can, or sorry,
93.
can go
Yeah,
to
I thought I'd
file
heard it.
containing folder.
Fucking good, man.
And we can take a look at the info PDF. Sorry.
Oh, you're all good. Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Come on. Dude. Loading document fonts. I haven't watched Acrobat in a while. There should be. Oh no!
Oh no!
This is it? There should be a description of every song.
Is it a
saying
CD cover?
what planet it's
It
from.
totally is a CD cover.
Yeah, this is the CD cover.
That's
Symphony of the
wild.
Planets, the Voyager recordings.
The historical documents.
Yeah. It's supposed to say which planets the tracks are, but I guess I don't have those pages here. So, what did these say? Just Symphony of the Planets 1, 2, 3. Photoshop. Yeah. Anyway.
Laser light digital.
This is really cool if you like getting stoned and listening to crazy music. This is literally the fields generated by other planets translated into audio spectrum. So very, very cool to listen to if you are of the age of getting stoned and would like to get stoned and listen to something interesting.
It's a thing to do with that. Yeah, that sound I am definitely in love with for many reasons. Um, because it feels like a space, you know? It's not one note,
Yeah.
it's symphonic. And it's fun to thank you for reminding us that that's what the planets sound like, you know? So.
Yeah. I love it. I love remembering that there are like fucking gigantic collections of particles out there vibrating in space,
Yeah,
creating
exactly. Right.
this ridiculous effects on all bodies around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're looking up in the night sky, you're seeing explosions of burning gas, you know, so far away. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it just blows you away. Just, you know, the universe is
An
miraculous, even
ongoing
if it's natural, you know.
an ongoing chemical reaction, which is exactly what we are,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
different kinds.
Yeah. Oh, so.
Is this what I use for the stars? Sort of different shape.
This panel is so fun. Oh man. Richard Cox running down the hallway.
Yeah.
I mean, because it hasn't changed that much from the sketch, but it's like all these little details that have been added since then are just fun. Yeah, I like looks around,
The
picking it all up. Yeah.
Was it the other one? Maybe smaller. Yeah.
Logan, how's Zephyr doing?
Better.
Yeah. He's not
He was
sick anymore?
coughing a lot. Poor guy.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
Still?
He was doing better now.
Gotcha.
Zephyr's my dog.
Yeah. He's a good dog.
We
And
love
very
dogs.
Yeah, and very handsome.
We love a good dog.
Do you have the ability to drop some dog photos in the chat?
I could potentially do you one better. Well, yeah, hang on, let me see.
What?
Better than photos?
Do you wait to see your dog? Yeah, because I'm telling you guys, not to play him up too much, but he is very
This was like
handsome.
Zephyr as of yesterday. This is an older picture of Raven.
Hell yes.
Dog photos have landed in the chat.
Oh shit. I'm slacking. Oh shit, I'm slacking. Oh shit.
Right?
Oh,
Right?
an adorable
Puppy.
girl.
Yeah, like Raven. Oh my
Oh,
god. Puppies are just, oh my god. And they're that handsome in real life too. Just look at them.
Zephyr is our young man, and Raven is our lady.
okay. Handsome man, beautiful lady. I love that picture right there.
It's a good one.
That's one of the best ones I have is Zephyr.
Look at his face, man. He's just getting
It's like-
so.
Human, please get that out of my face.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I told you.
Beautiful animals.
Yeah, really, really good.
Let's see if they have yet a good one.
Jack, what is your cat's name?
What's up?
What's your cat's name?
Siobhan.
Siobhan. Fancy.
Ginger princess.
Oh, Ginger. Yeah, fair.
Company that made like Dark Troopers and Power Rangers, right?
Siobhan.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing.
So, I mean, she greenlighted those projects specifically.
Right.
I'll check chat in 1 second. Yo,
Right, but
yo. You know. All right, let's check
Aaron,
these.
I mean, like, did you imagine that this is what the page would look like when we wrote the words that, Richard runs down the hallway? Oh God, that dog. See, that's what I'm talking about. Look at your boy. Yeah.
We have a similar sweater for our.
Yeah, we got
Right.
matching pajamas last Christmas.
So cute.
Uh-huh.
She looked like she loves us, but shit.
These two are cute.
Yeah, so cute. Oh my God. And they're good dogs too. They're just, yeah. Who doesn't love a good loyal
They're
dog?
ready for bed, and I'm here for it.
Speaking of which, we're going to be finishing off the Good Dog script tomorrow night, which I'm really excited about, or mostly finishing it off. We're creating a bad guy for ongoing battles with, so a pirate dog. Eric Hasville, you excited? I'm excited.
Yep. I'm excited for writing. I I have a kind of idea of how Archie and the Queen get together.
Okay, cool.
I can't wait to share that.
No, I'm excited also. Yeah, because we're gonna lay it down tomorrow night. Logan, if you can make it, it'll be fun. Well, fun.
Should be able to.
Yeah, hopefully we can power through that, and then we'll have it on paper, and we can look at the big picture. It might not happen. It might be later this week. We have to do it. Jack, are we still doing Thursday? Are you okay with meeting
Yeah.
up Thursday to draw some more? Okay,
Unless
cool.
I have another, unless I have some other like medical thing come up.
Bro, yeah, exactly. Watch out for that sugar. First of all, if you think that has anything to do with it, but also, yeah, I mean, if that does happen right away, I don't know how you would do that if you were unconscious, but I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.
If you go to the hospital, make sure they let you bring your computer.
Right. Like, you get a medical bracelet that says, bring my laptop.
Yeah.
But no, I
We'll
mean,
see.
just for your own sake, for you know what I mean? Like, holy cow, nobody wants you to be in that position. I mean, least of all you, but like also, I mean, it's pretty gross.
Well, I appreciate it, guys, and don't worry. I will watch out for. I mean, my roommates are. I mean, I have no choice in the matter now. Like, they're not letting me take chances. Like,
Right. I mean, that's
it only
great
takes
for them
one time
too.
of passing out on a bicycle for. It really, I guess it really does test if you have people around you that care about you, because you pass out on a bicycle and people are like, oh yeah, sure, go out on a bicycle again.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, you guys have been longtime friends, so
Yeah.
I know they deeply care about you. So yeah, I mean, we just like having you around, guy.
Yeah, my roommates aren't letting me go on a bicycle again, so.
Which is a
Nothing to
shame.
worry about for the foreseeable future.
Honestly, yeah, biking is fantastic, but
Did somebody get your bicycle, or?
No, yesterday morning,
Bless you.
I passed
Thanks,
out
buddy.
on my morning bike ride.
Right. I mean, like, so I know you said you passed out on the bike ride.
Yeah.
So did somebody, like, get your bike for you?
Yeah, my roommates
Or did
did. Well, initially, the local fire department did. Like, it was delivered to the local fire department, I guess.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
They were holding it, and my roommate went there to go pick it up. And all my effects were there, my wallet, my keys, everything.
Again,
cool.
Wow.
So the community took care of me. I
Yeah.
love my community. I will never talk shit about my community. People do
Again,
need to learn where they're walking on the 606, but my community took care of me, so that's unofficial. That's
Right.
unofficial.
That.
Hey, nobody stole your bike, so that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Or your wallet and keys, right? Like that's just. Yeah, you got good people around you.
Yeah, the community took care of me for sure.
Yeah.
Whoa! No! Oh, wait a minute. What are we listening to here? Sorry, guys.
I was asking the same
forget.
thing actually. What was that? I mean, it's bumping.
What was it? Wait, hold on. Oof. Caribou, Odessa, from the album
Oh,
Swim.
okay, yeah, fair.
That's a 2010 album.
I
So that's
think I'm
that's one that's
familiar
been around
with
for
it.
15 years at this point.
Do enjoy Caribou for sure.
Caribou's great. I saw him live in 2010.
Oh,
It's
really?
yeah, at the Asheville festival. What was it called? Moog Fest. I saw him at Moog Fest.
Okay.
Fucking great live.
I
Like,
bet everybody's jumping in the crowd, just like moving.
yeah, I mean, dude, and grooving. I mean, dude, he
Yeah.
has a lot of different. He has a lot of different, styles of songs. So
Yeah. Fair. Oh, that does sound like a blast. Yeah, I miss getting to casually see musicians, just because they're nearby and you can get tickets.
Yeah. It is a perk of living in the city.
For sure.
Although this was a perk of dating somebody who was like a little loaded, so we were able to go to a lot of music festivals.
That's always a nice feature to have that advantage. I mean, and that is kind of the thing too, right? Like if you're into going to festivals, you do have to be having a source of income.
I mean, it wasn't bad, like I am not the kind of person that's going to stay with somebody because of that. So like,
No, I mean, right? That's just using them.
she was she was very smart, very sexy intellect, very sexy woman, but a bit manipulative. So
that
you gotta know when to say no.
lot of smart people, right?
Unless you want to be kept. I mean, if you want to be kept, I don't have anything against you. Just You can't ever argue that you're kept. Like you're making a choice. So
yeah, you're allowed to
I'm not
make
gonna
your
make that choice
choices,
for
but you're also allowed to be called out for making your choices.
I mean, I'm not even called out. Just like, hey, that's what's going on there. Like,
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, be like, yep,
like
facts, no
call
big
you
deal.
out. Like,
I
hey, you
enjoy
got your life. That's cool.
Yeah.
I got my life. It's not what I want. Don't judge me because
You chime in about how you're capturing Tasman. What did you say?
Oh, I just was like, it's my life. Now on
Step.
I'm gonna live forever. Yeah.
So I will say this about the Cash and Space theme, it is a total earworm. So Jack, just be careful. Like when you hear it, sometimes it just
all right,
it
let's just
wigs.
listen to this.
Yeah,
Let's just
let's
listen
put
to
it
this.
on.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I dropped something yesterday, so you should be able to pull up the newest version of it. I've been listening to it for the last like 90 minutes because I was like editing the podcast.
Is it the chord?
But yeah, so it's the group that it should say Cox Music, I think. But yeah, it's on the Discord.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, just making sure that I got this.
I only keep mentioning it because it's on my brain. It's totally not a necessary thing to do now, but again, I was listening to it because you get to hear how it evolves, what he did to what it turned into, and it's just it's real fun. And
Okay.
and our theme song,
let's
Breakfast
listen
by
to it.
Aaron Coswell, is fun.
To the Discord.
Discord.
So is it this Cox soundtrack here?
Yeah, the Cox
Yeah,
music
Cox
and the
soundtrack.
Cox soundtrack. Yeah, that's
Cox soundtrack. Go.
it's real.
me turn it up a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh. Epic. Like really going for the like
Yeah, that's
really
the theme
stealing
song.
guns right now. And leaping over tall buildings needs to wow.
Fucking hero music, man.
Like this is really like the opening music and now it's like they're having fights with horns and you know making snap decisions with the phasers. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
interesting.
Right? Like it builds up from that little like aura at the beginning to that. It's a fun ride. That's what I'll say about
Job.
that. So
Who
he
made that
says,
again?
so that's Flamingo. He says it's actually three songs in one, and he wants to take them apart and make all three songs into like 3 or 4 minute songs. It's overkill in my opinion, but I understand why he wants to do it. But you can hear he just has those different turns in each of it. He said he can expand all of them. Yeah,
Oh, can he now?
yeah. But yeah, so he took the theme song, which we've
Sorry,
sung
I
for
didn't mean
years.
for that to sound as like I didn't mean for that to sound as
No,
taunting as it did. But
I can see that you definitely liked it. Like, the theme is fun.
yeah, it was definitely like very appropriate for a animated you know thing for sure.
Well, yeah, again, he said he was looking at the art that you've done. to like have it have the same atmosphere as that. And we agree that he has hit that
Okay. Yeah. It's true.
that
No,
that
absolutely,
yeah
100% agree.
new wave space sound. So
100% agree.
yeah, it's a project that I'm glad to see the pieces are coming together on.
I give this all like soft edge.
So the foray that I have into comic books is I used to be able to find Richie Rich comic books for real cheap because
Okay.
nobody really wants to read Richie Rich comic books, but you could get like a whole stack of them for $1 or something. So when I was a kid going
Okay.
through my comic book phase, that's what I was reading was like Richie Rich, and then I found the Captain Carrigan's Amazing Zoo Crew comic books. Let's
Wow.
see. Yeah, because they were like the ones that were like less expensive. Because Marvel and the other comic book franchises, there was a lot of them, and they were
Yeah.
new, and they charged like $3 at that time, I think, for a new comic book. And it's not like I could buy one of those every week. I was working a
Mhm.
paper route, but that wasn't a whole lot of money.
Dude, you know how I afforded comic books?
How's that?
I would take my parents, like, because my parents would give me cash for my lunch ticket,
Ah,
and I would essentially like take my lunch ticket and I would buy comic books with them. And
so you
during
just you just
lunch
skip lunch?
breaks, I'd either survive off of people's goodwill or I'd sneak. I'd just sneak in and grab a lunch,
Oh,
and I
damn.
would not get a ticket punched. Yeah, there are ways.
There are
There
ways,
are ways
right?
that you could do it if you knew how.
If you're hungry and you spend your money on comic books, that there are ways.
Yeah. Also, if you did things like come in early in the morning and help the lunch ladies out, they always look the other way. So again, gotta know how to grease the wheels.
Makes sense.
Gotta
And they
know.
know there's a lot that they're going to throw away at the end of the day anyway, because that's just the thing about preparing food. You always over prepare.
It's true.
Yeah.
So there's a
I'm
little
not
bit
saying that I
of
always got lunch, but I managed and I bought comic books.
it.
Um, so
My
yeah,
library had my library had comic books, so I just had a good library system. Uh, and Superman, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, X-Men, um,
You know what
sometimes
I'm saying?
Batman, Green Lantern. Yeah, had some really good ones.
If you tax
interesting.
billionaires, that means that there can be libraries for kids like Aaron Cosbeal to go to
Exactly.
and keep up to date with the other kids, as far as comic books.
Oh
Because
yeah,
like here's the thing,
they'll be able to pay the library.
yeah, if you didn't read comic books as a kid, you've actually missed out on a huge social thing that's happening right now, as we've seen all the comic book movies kind of like take over modern cinema, right?
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, also just like having your imagination be activated.
Yeah,
Just
true.
being able to put that extra dimension on your thought of fantastic thinking. You know,
Right, yeah,
I think it's
exactly.
cool.
The inspiring of imagination. It's a very important
Yeah,
trait. And maybe we're biased because we're creators and we value that more than any other trait. But and say that on behalf of
maybe
everyone who's on the call right now is, I think we
I
might we might be more
don't think
biased.
it's
Yeah, like that creation is an important
yeah.
thing.
I don't think it's wrong to value it more than other stuff, but I guess I am biased.
Wow.
Literally motivate people to have deeper thought. And we seek the truth, but that's really neither. Everybody can claim that.
Speaking the truth.
I mean, I seek fiction, so I mean, the truth is whatever, but like creating your own worlds is way more enjoyable than whatever truth the real world can give me. Uh,
Well, fiction can contain truth too, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the best fiction does.
It's because it's not true events doesn't mean it can't have
Well, and here's the thing about
a lot
fiction
of
is
truth.
that fiction doesn't come from nowhere. Whenever you make up a story, you're actually leaving blueprints of your own psyche because you're only expressing your point of
Yeah,
view, you know? Like you can't think of things you can't think of.
True.
unless you take psychedelic drugs.
Well, I mean, still though, you're still going to see a
Then you can
reflection
think of
of yourself.
things you've never thought of before.
True story. But you also find that at the bottom of all that, it's still your perspective on the way that you see things. And it can change. Like there's extreme like perspectives on what that means to you, but
I mean, you have to treat the experience with respect to be able to really get anything from it. But if you
so
are in the right place to receive creative input, um, you can get like very deep creative insight on, you know, projects, perspective on topics. I've had deep creative insights. Again, not saying that this is the only way to do it, but yeah, on psychedelic drugs, I've had deep creative insights, and
oh, for sure, man.
you know, every time that I have, you know, like I waited months to trip, and I made sure that I was in the right state of mind, you know, like meditated beforehand, you know, like did breathing exercises, you know, like I didn't try to disrespect the experience by making it just about like getting buzzed. But I definitely had profound insights on not just myself, but on how to create and what it means to um, be like a real artist and creator, to have
Yeah,
vision, you know.
totally. Yeah, exactly. Approaching the experience with respect, with the intent to learn,
Yeah,
right? Like that's yeah, it's super key. Like just riding a ride, you're not gonna get anything out of it, but um,
yeah.
eye on the prize for real.
And you got to have discipline. Like a lot of different people have discipline and can learn, you know, a lot of different things. So you have to have discipline too. Like it's not like you can just like be like one thing or the other, but you also you have to be invested in developing your skill, no matter how little you feel like it is. Of like having a vision for something, having a vision for what could be, like how things could be different, better, and being able to execute on that.
Right, yeah, exactly. I was talking the other night about how mastery doesn't you can know a bunch of stuff, but mastery doesn't come for a good decade or more. And that's with continued like practice into the craft. Now some people can shorten that time a little bit, but talking on average, uh, knowledge and
That's
skills
a
are two different
gift.
things. Yeah,
Some people can learn very fast.
sure.
That's a gift. Anybody can learn what they need to learn to, you
Anybody can
know,
learn. Yeah.
be a yeah, to be a creator, but you have to give over to, you know, certain like necessities, and one of those things is um, developing vision. Unless you want to be like a Renaissance era, like just learn one thing and practice it over and over and over again and get like really good at making like some fucking little curly cue or whatever. Um,
Okay.
which, you know, that's if you want to learn how to do that, that's fine. But I think in being an actual artist, you have to be able to envision what's possible with your skill set and push that in some way,
Hmm.
or at least have a perspective on what it's being used for to work within a framework.
Right. No, yeah, I totally agree. Um, because yeah, you have to have a goal to work like your art towards. And it's not really the same thing as like making a statement because you can do that with like every project that you do for different reasons, you know.
Right.
But it's like that you are looking at your art as something that is like intended to improve with every time that you do it.
I mean, if not improve, at least like have a trajectory, have a direction.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I know that some people are comfortable um, with their art the way that it is, and I want to respect everybody's expression. I
Right.
also know that some people are at their, you know, they're at their peak and they're trying to learn, but
Hmm.
they may be frustrated because they can't get any further. Um,
That is
you know,
interesting. I
some
hadn't thought about
people
that yet.
and some people may not believe the same things that I believe about art, and they believe that art is a product, and so they're doing just fine not having any of the things that I talk about. Which again, if people are paying for it, what the fuck can I say? But I think the things that have carried art throughout human history is the fact that it moves whatever we call a soul, and
Right.
that is because it reaches down into truth, quote unquote capital T truth in its own way. And
Well, right.
you
Okay.
know,
So here's an example. You're working on Cox in space, and you are in fact using the truth because you've insisted that it's a ship that holds a cock, that of the shape and size, and you force the perspective to make sense, right? Like you give honor to the fact that the pecker exists in your mind and in the image, right? Is that what you mean by like it holds truth in it?
well, I mean, I mean it in many ways. I mean, maybe I mean it in a neoclassical way too, where I mean we like believe that artwork and it being a more than the sum of its parts
Mm.
finds a way to have like a certain kind of sublimity. Is that the way you pronounce that word? Anyway, like it reaches the sublime, um, and
Oh,
that in some
sublimity.
way also
Yeah.
means it reaches truth because again, like there's there's different ways that like everything is kind of based on perspective. There's like many facets to life that you know like many things can be true at the same time. Is what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say.
Okay.
So, like art, in my opinion, has a responsibility, unless it's corporate art, it has a responsibility of reaching one of these truths if it's meant to be taken seriously. If it's meant to be an idol, whatever, then that's fine, I guess. But you know, I think the best art has some kind of truth in it. Like, nature has symmetry, and
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
the color, natural color harmonies and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Human art has narrative. um, amongst
Interesting.
other
Yeah,
things.
I totally agree. I've never put it that way, but I totally agree.
I feel like the main human addition to quote unquote again capital B beauty is narrative because we haven't really. I mean, math already existed. So like I
Mhm.
mean, there's beautiful artwork that's all made out of math. And I don't want to take anything away from that. Like I could never make
Especially
it
paint by
myself,
numbers.
especially paint by numbers.
And Castro
But
for the joke.
math already existed. Like a lot of
Right.
those like beautiful fractals that we see in like the math art,
Mhm.
those things already existed in nature. And I mean, sometimes we're still finding them, but sometimes that art is based on those things. But narrative, like the trajectory of like history, you could argue that it always has existed, but before human beings, it didn't have a voice, it didn't have an observer, um, arguably.
Hmm. Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah. I mean that, yeah, fair.
narrative is one of the things that we truly add to beauty. I would argue, but you have to be a human being to understand it, which is one of the things that do we add anything if you have to be this kind of thing to see it. Like
Well,
maybe
so
don't.
yeah, and narrative is the whole cause for language, right? Like the reason we start talking is because, unlike the rest of nature, nature just exists in the presence of what it is. But we want to share the past experience that we've had, which is, humans start, laughing words together.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you know, there is something that causes us to want to do that, that other, animals haven't. I mean, other animals do communicate.
Kind of
You
communicate.
know, and one thing that I always like to point out to people, like one of the first ways that animals communicated is bee dance. Bees danced millions, hundreds of millions of years ago. Bees danced to
Bees.
communicate with each other. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how far. Whenever somebody, this is why. I mean, no offense to anybody that doesn't dance. Like you can have your own thing. But dude, whenever you see people like looking down on people dancing and being like, "Oh, that's what weak people, or people that just want to be noticed, or blah, 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 do," it's like you don't know what you're talking about. Like this kind of expression goes all the way back to before lizard brain. It's like it's one of the most fundamental things you can engage in as a multicellular creature. And I just think that it's silly to look down. It's like if you don't feel comfortable, that's fine.
Right,
But
yeah,
to look down on
exactly.
other people doing it,
No, right. Yeah, it's a
it's
very
like, come on,
ancient ritual
come on.
from the lizard brain, the pre-animal cortex. Can you switch your screen over real quick?
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry,
I
dude.
think your keyboard got tapped or something, and it switched over to that one
Yeah,
by default. So
yeah.
yeah, you weren't even up to anything. Um, but yeah, no, hell yeah, right. Like that's the thing. So I always tell people, because I love to dance. When music is on, my body starts moving and it's super fun. That's all I can tell you about that. And people be like,
Right.
man, you really know how to dance. And then I always tell them that I learned how to dance on ecstasy because for some reason I was at a club when it happened and like I got some ecstasy. And for some reason my brain like kicked into this place where it understood what music was and how to convey it through the body. And so I was just like, oh, okay, cool, cool. And from that point forward, I just like understood what dancing was. You know what I mean? Like, and before it had never been a thing. But yeah,
That's so
where
funny.
like your feet will pick up the bass and then your body will pick up like the middle range and your hands will pick up like the higher range. And so you just let them like move together in the way that the artist is, providing those ranges to you. Um, so you said because you had gained insight like on acid sometimes because you just see things differently. That's probably my signal dying.
I really only know the waltz. That's because I was the prince in Cinderella.
But yeah, dancing is hella fun.
Yeah.
Jack Hands, you all right, bud?
Only the only reason I refuse to dance is because I'm not good at it.
And that's what like that was
But who's
my
deciding what is good?
yeah, that was my objective. Like I always felt weird doing it. And then yeah, like my brain was like kicked out of the equation and my body just started moving. And from that point forward, I was just like, hell yes. Like it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just fun to do. Not that I'm saying that's the only way you can learn how to do that, but yeah. I think Jack's call has been dropped. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, especially with the news we got earlier today.
Yeah, with our boy. Yeah. Um,
I can only see half his face.
I know, right?
It's
Often
disappeared.
he's lost half his face. There
He's medically half gone.
it is. Yeah,
Hopefully he's just having connective issues, and I'm not being like terrible and
right. Yeah.
insensitive right now.
You find out later that he actually did only have half a face. At
Yeah.
that very moment, he was being prophetic. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he just has really good prosthesis.
Right. He's being prosthetic. Fucking goose, man.
He's auditioning for Half Face, the new
Yeah,
Batman villain.
the new Batman. Half
Yeah,
face.
half face. That's a Bateman villain.
But yeah, exactly, Bateman villain. You were talking the other night about how you want to see Man Bat come back. What's up, buddy?
I loved Man Bat in the animated series. I thought it was really cool.
You all right? The screen froze up there for a second.
Well, my computer froze,
Oh, geez.
so I had to restart it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just random uh, hiccup. Sorry about that.
You're all good. So I was thinking about in DC they do have Morbius and how fun it would be to see Ben Affleck punch Jared Leto in the face for being, Man Bat. Like they like cross over those storylines and like just make it the same
Everybody hates
storyline.
Jared Leto.
Well, it would be fun to see Ben Affleck especially, Batman versus Morbius. I mean, as far as like, fan fiction or like playing to the fans. Because isn't that really what DC is like all about, is doing the whole like Godzilla versus whatever matchup? I mean, all comic books really, right?
Um, sure.
Yeah. Aaron, you read comic books, don't you? Didn't you just say that?
Mostly. Like it's been a
Okay,
little
so
bit.
so
I've
isn't
been
it
doing more listening.
okay, so
But yeah,
you read summaries of comic books. But like by and large, like
I agree.
Marvel exists off of, especially early on, they're like this guy versus this guy versus this guy, right? Like that's a big franchise seller. I mean, they did it with the
Yeah,
movies too, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Whatever they put on the front of the comic book is designed to get people intrigued.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like that's the yeah. And they'll like, Wolverine turns crazy because, whatever it is. And you read the plot of how that happens in the pages.
Have
Right.
you ever gone to? There's a whole website called Superman is a Dick.
Okay.
Because in like the Silver Age, like the things that they would put on the front covers of Superman was him not being kind. I don't know why they did that, but it's very funny. I highly
So
recommend.
what examples do you mean? Can you recall any of them?
Let me.
Wait a minute. Let me pull up a YouTube video actually, because this is
You know what he's talking about?
well, there are some 70s cartoon examples.
No, I got you.
So
Superman
there's
seems
an
like he would
example
be
of
a dick.
Superman and Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen gave Superman a robe for Father's Day.
Okay.
And Superman says, "Jimmy, this gift you got me for Father's Day makes me sorry I ever adopted you as my son.
Oh
I'll have to
geez.
destroy it to teach you a lesson.
Oh
But
man.
Superman, I mean, Dad, what did I do wrong?" It's just him destroying the gift. Of course,
Damn, Superman.
that's not the Superman's actual. That's Jimmy Olsen had his own comic, I guess,
Gotcha.
at the time, and so it's Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen comic.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I
So
remember
it's
that
not canon.
existing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know if it's canon.
Never say yes to a cigarette.
Anyway, so this one we kind of already saw. Like this guy is basically trying to give kids cigarettes, right?
What's his motivation? That seems so strange. I don't think it's good to have just spilled them.
Okay, can you just talk about how big of a dick you have to be to launch somebody into the atmosphere?
Into the atmosphere? Right, like he's like he didn't get
Like,
killed until he hits the ground and then he's dead.
I mean, dude, his lungs pop as he gets out of, and then it's
Yeah,
like his
fair.
eyeballs pop out of his skin boils off.
He
But
freezes once he gets so high.
yeah, I mean, like, no, we're on the sunny side. So after you get out of
Yeah.
the atmosphere, the sun is like 200 It's like something. Anyway, um,
The friction of going through the atmosphere.
it's like, yeah, I know he was selling cigarettes to kids, which is despicable, but it's like just to unilaterally fucking murder the motherfucker, like Superman is a dick. Like, come on.
That seems a little harsh. Yeah, yeah.
There are more. Wait, hold on.
It's
Let's
like,
see. I don't think he unilaterally kills him though.
I mean, come on. I mean, unless he goes catches him, pulls a Hitchcock. There's no, you know.
See, and honestly, just on a non-sector, that's one of my favorite things about Batman is like he'll really fuck up like any petty criminal,
Yeah,
but he's
exactly.
like, I don't kill. But it's like he has no qualms with like severing your spine in 3 places, like just really fucking your shit up.
Well, those
Here you
are
go.
those two. I just remembered that one where he like launches him up to the atmosphere, and I always thought, oh my god, he killed him.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, he
Sharing out something
absolutely
into
has.
the chat for that of Superman being a dick, but also being better to the regular chat.
That yeah, that tracks. It's so interesting that they feel like they have to go tell kids that when the person who's to blame is the one who's selling the cigarettes to kids.
You want high performance tools?
Sorry, I want to.
But don't you
Long
want high
lasting tools?
performance tools, Jack?
I want to turn the sound down.
My favorite.
Fun animation. For
Yeah.
sure.
If Superman was a bro and Batman was incompetent and dumb.
Right, right. And it always depends on your interpretation of Batman. There's different versions for sure, more or less capable.
Yeah. It's basically inarguable that Batman is a bro.
He is a bro. Yeah.
He is a billionaire.
That's the thing is he's got
Giga Chad, bro.
all the money. Yeah, so that and then I mean that's kind of like the beef with Batman, right? Like so he has all of the money and he's choosing to just fight crime in his one city. But I really hope this is like what
And not
Elon Musk
really.
does. Yeah.
Only at night.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, he decides to pick fights with like petty crooks. But like he has billions of dollars and literally could be doing a ton of good everywhere.
Yeah, he's gonna smash your entire lower jaw if he catches you trying to sell some weed, though.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So he just protects Gotham City. Like, okay, cool. I mean, that is a feat for one man, but right, you have a lot of economic sway, Mr. Batman.
Yeah.
Like Batman might be smart, but he is kind of stupid too, because he'll beat the shit out of you and then be like, "Now talk."
Yeah, no talk. Your jaws on the floor is like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, say, like, the only word you can muster is help.
Yeah.
There's no help for you.
Oh, jeez. Bruh.
That's what's crazy. Is like Batman will kill you, but he has no problem maiming the fuck out of you.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's working his issues out.
He has childhood issues.
Yeah.
Many issues.
I mean, that's why it's important for
Definitely
them
childhood issues.
to remind us, yeah, like, oh, but you know, he's an orphan. He you know, tragedy. He was working through tragedy. And so like basically it was saying like Batman with PTSD and always with PTSD. So
This is where I lost my parents.
yeah, and this is yeah.
That's why for Cox and Space, like not only is it important to spread happiness throughout the universe, but also self-care is important.
Yeah.
So you don't become a vigilante.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. You've got to take a break for yourself as well. I always found that really interesting with the Ten Commandments because there's a lot of stuff that's in the Ten Commandments, right? Like it's super important. You can totally be like, yeah, hell yes, right? Like, don't murder, don't steal, don't covet, right? Like the Ten Commandments, like stuff that like helps society, you know, not implode on itself. Because it breaks the social trust, right? But then the big one, I mean, there's one that's included on there that's like I mean, obviously it's included, so it's as important as everything else, as lying and stealing, murdering, and that's like to maintain the Sabbath. Right? And I'm sure you guys are all aware the Sabbath is just like taking a day of rest to hang out with your family and like, in the presence of the God, right? And so like it's
Maybe that is the
interesting.
commandment.
Yeah, that's so yeah, it's actually yeah, so and thank you for reminding me of where that thought started, but that's like self-care is important is actually written into Shabbat law or like yeah, into the Torah. I mean, also Shabbat law, which is kind of a ridiculous thing to police things for. But like, they're like, and then one day of the week, just don't do anything. Y'all just hang out together, enjoy nature and your family, you know.
Yeah.
But like that it's on equal footing as do not murder, do not steal. So it has as equal importance to it. Like for a healthy society, you have to remember to take a break. Self-care is important. So that line,
Plus, if you take a break, it's easier to do the other commandments.
100%. You know what I mean? Like you can, if you like choose to be kind, you choose to be kind to yourself and to others.
Yeah.
So I did a thing today that is really important for like my mental health. Like when my nails get too long, I can feel them touch my palms and it really irritates me throughout the day. And so it's like this sensory overload. And so I don't notice it at first because your nails grow over time and you can't be like super fussy about it. But yeah, so sometimes it gets to the point where it's just like I can just feel them all the time, and then I realize that. So I cut back my nails today, and was reminded that yeah, self-care is important because all the stimulus that you have coming in affects your psyche. I mean, you respond to it, but it's oftentimes you're responding to it before even you're consciously aware of it because your animal brain and your lizard brain are responding to it first.
Yeah.
So anyway, it
Yeah,
is.
I get it. I didn't really clock that. Yeah, I mean, when my nails get long, it does really bother me. Like,
Right. Well, so I'll
I
do a
guess
lot
it's
of writing and typing, you know what I mean? And so like that's another thing too, is like you can't grip or touch the keyboard right. It's like off a little bit.
yeah.
Dude,
I
look
get
at the
you.
inside of the pecker. That is fantastic. Jack, thanks for being here tonight and surviving your bike crash.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you to the city of Chicago for getting our boy Jack to the hospital so nothing happened to him on the side of the road.
I mean, it was quite the experience to just wake up there, but I am
Yeah,
glad that I woke up in a hospital and not
yeah,
like on the side of the road missing a kidney.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Kidneys
I
are
do
yeah.
want to say that the face band-aid is giving like Nelly and O3 vibes. I'll
I'm
let you know
about to
that as well.
drop.
That's pretty good. Um, Nelly has Nelly been implicated in anything shady?
Uh,
I don't know.
you want to hope
It's
not.
nothing I've
Seems
paid
like
attention. I know
everybody,
Mystical
right?
had been. I think the last thing he got arrested for was like they found like guns and drugs and shit on his tour bus, which I mean, rappers,
Yeah.
these are things that happen. But I mean,
Right. I mean,
I don't think it's like as far as shady shit, like Mystical got, he got hung up for like I think fucking with like a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, as long
Yeah.
as he hasn't like gotten like hung up doing some like truly like heinous shit, and it's just yeah, doing like honest to goodness rapper shit, like buying a bunch of guns.
Right, and like I said, me personally, I like guns and drugs as much as the next man.
Right.
I mean, I would definitely, my rappers be preparing for war than diddling kids. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
that's
good. So Nelly in 2024, November 2024, the last time, in St. Louis, he was suspected of having drugs in the casino, but he didn't get the
okay.
charges weren't pressed on him. So
Okay.
that's not real high profile news at all. So, sounds like he's rape
And
arrested in
meanwhile,
2017.
Mystical is still in jail, I think.
For
I hope.
for drugs or for no,
Yeah,
Mystical was
yeah, for his allegations. I would help there. Please.
yeah. I have no sympathy for anybody that's out here taking advantage of people. That's for sure. Where is the
Okay.
some dots on the thing here? Sorry, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna call it here, gentlemen. I
Yeah.
put a little bit more. I put a little bit into this panel. We finished the second
And
panel essentially, although when my computer reset, I lost a little bit. Sorry about that. But we got a lot of panel two done, so
get that
we're just gonna keep pressing forward on
awesome.
Thursday, and we're gonna move on to panel three, panel
Sweet.
four. We're gonna get as much of the basic stuff down. Try to get some deeper stuff. And we're gonna try to finish those 4 panels up before we get into the last panel, because that one is just gonna be like one big just
For
building
sure.
fest. I feel
Yeah,
like.
so one of the things I was going to call out at the beginning of this was that, we have like the inside the pecker is super drab, and it's just like this very like cool tones. I want to go the exact opposite for when we hit Pussy Paradise, like just absolutely bright, like, inverse, all the vibrance is like going up. So it's like
Gotcha.
startling, right? So like totally makes sense. Yeah, I'll finish off these ones that have all that same palette to it, and then the brilliance of hitting the beach.
Nice. I love it. I love that
Yeah,
idea. Can't
yeah.
wait to hit that panel.
Same. I've been looking forward to it, but like also I realize that we got to do all the work before we get to that point. So there's the payoff. So thank
Yeah.
you again for being here, man. We will see you soon.
I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Goodbye for now.
Bye,
Be
bye.
safe in the meantime, Jack.
I'll
Be
try.
well.